Good morning, children. How are you all today? Okay, fine. So first, tell me if any doubt you do have, any question from the yesterday's topic, ask it. If you don't have right now, then the moment question comes to your mind, you ask. Yesterday we discussed what was the Soviet system. Fine. We have discussed that what was the Soviet system. Okay. Now see, children, in that system we discussed that the Russian Revolution that took place in 1917, back to back two revolutions took in that year, one in the month of February, another in the month of October. Okay, and basically the figure, the person who led this revolution from front was Lenin, and thereafter the positive and the negative aspects of this Soviet system we discussed yesterday in great detail. At length we discussed, and then we concluded that the kind of arms race Soviet Union managed and started to match with that of US. They continued to do so, but cost was very heavy in fact, children. Okay, and somewhere the productivity, the technology, it kept falling considerably behind as compared to the Western world. So this led to the shortages in all consumer goods, and then imports started, and economy started faltering in 1970s, late 1970s, and thereafter it became stagnant. Now in this scenario, children, what do you expect from Mikhail Gorbachev? So today we shall be discussing Gorbachev and the disintegration, the way disintegration took place, the role of Mikhail Gorbachev and Boris Yeltsin. Fine. Now, Mikhail Gorbachev, a figure, a person who became General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, and it was exactly the year 1985 Gorbachev, whose full name was Mikhail Gorbachev, became the General Secretary. And he wanted to reform this system because he knew that if we fail in ensuring reform at this moment, it would be too late for Soviet Union. Okay, so reforms were now necessary, and the purpose, the reason, and the need of reform so that they could succeed in keeping the USSR up to date, abreast of information and all the technological revolutions taking place in the West, in the Western world. Okay, so this was the main purpose behind the reform, in fact, and he was very much, his concerns was highly genuine, children. Okay, now his decision, or Gorbachev's decision to normalize relations with the Western world, to democratize the Soviet system, to reform the Soviet Union, it had some other effects also that neither he nor anyone else intended or anticipated. Because for the very basic purpose or reason he wanted to go ahead with reform, undoubtedly this was the only option left. But the effect, these reforms that had been started by Gorbachev had neither he intended and nor anticipated, neither by his side nor by the side of anyone else. So the people in the Eastern Europe, East European countries in particular, the people of the East European countries of the Soviet bloc, they had something else in their mind and they started to protest against their own government. Okay, who started doing so? The people in the East European countries of the Soviet bloc. Fine. And because they were under the Soviet control. Okay. Now, this time, unlike in the past, the Soviet Union under present General Secretary of Communist Party, Mikhail Gorbachev, did not intervene. Generally, what happens when disturbances start taking place anywhere across the globe in any country, then immediately government takes a step. Here, Gorbachev didn't intervene. Okay, and communist regimes collapsed one after another. Suppose you are not intervening, government is least bothered, government doesn't intervene. There may be, or in two cases, such things happen. Either you want that let the due course take its own path, or let it be decided, you left it on their condition. Second, you wanted this to happen. Okay, so communist regime here collapsed one after another. And these developments were accompanied by a rapidly escalating crisis within the USSR. Crisis was there, it was aggravating, it was escalating. Okay. And these rapidly escalating crises within the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics hastened it, speeded up, geared its disintegration. And Mikhail Gorbachev initiated the policies of economic and political reform. Economic and political reform, these policies had been initiated by Gorbachev, and democratization within the country. Okay. Democratization, because democracy, remember, the people wanted the speech, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Democracy, they wanted their rights, their political rights, they wanted to exercise. Okay. And in that scenario, if you will say that, okay, all in all, each communist party, opposition and other political parties are not allowed, they are not welcome, then such moves are bound to go against you in long run. And so we are finding the same in case of USSR. Fine. And the reforms were opposed by the leaders within the Communist Party. Okay. A coup took place in 1991. Okay. One conspiracy has been hatched, one planning has been done. A coup took place in 1991, and this was encouraged by Communist Party hardliners. Means who wanted that party must not deviate from its policy. Whatsoever has been decided, we must stick to it. Okay. So this coup was encouraged by Communist Party hardliners. The people had tasted freedom by then and didn't want the old style rule of the Communist Party. Okay, now the old style rule of the Communist Party they didn't want. Okay, Boris Yeltsin, another figure now, came on a national scenario. He emerged as a national hero in opposing this coup. This coup has been opposed by the coup that took place by the party hardliners. This has been opposed by Boris Yeltsin. So he emerged as a national hero, and the Russian Republic, where Boris Yeltsin won a popular election, began to shake off centralized control. He emerged as a hero, he won the election, It means not the centralized control, the control that were in the hand of the Communist Party of Soviet Union. Somewhere it started shaking, and power began to shift from the Soviet center to the republics, and it was bound to take place. From the Soviet centers to the republics, power started shifting, especially in the more Europeanized part of the Soviet Union. The parts that were more Europeanized, the European part, okay, there it started shifting, in fact. And because these Europeanized part of the Soviet Union saw themselves as sovereign states. So it was quite obvious whosoever will consider themselves as sovereign states, power will shift. And the Central Asian republics, they didn't ask for independence. Those Central Asian republics, they they never asked about their independence and wanted to remain with the Soviet Federation. These Central Asian republics, they wanted to remain with the Soviet Federation, with the Soviet Union. And in December 1991, Russia, Ukraine and Russia, Ukraine and Belarus, under the leadership of Boris Yeltsin, okay, these three major republics, they declared that Soviet Union has disbanded. Okay, Soviet Union is no more in existence, and Soviet Union was disbanded. Okay, the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, if Soviet Union was disbanded, then certainly the Communist Party was also banned. It was bound to take place, and Communist Party got banned. In place of socialism and communism, now capitalism and democracy were adopted as the basis for the post-Soviet republics. The basis for the post-Soviet republic. This was how the disintegration of the Soviet Union took place. Hope it is clear to you. Okay. Must ask in case of any doubt. Fine. Now, with this, the declaration on the disintegration of USSR and the formation of CIS. CIS, we say Commonwealth of Independent States. This step came as a surprise to the other republics, especially to the Central Asian ones. It came as a surprise, or you can say this was a surprise package. Okay, after disintegration, or with the declaration of disintegration, the formation of Commonwealth of Independent States. Okay, and the exclusion of these republics. Okay, the exclusion of these republics was an issue that was quickly solved by making them founding members of the CIS, founding members of the Commonwealth of Independent States. Which republics we are talking here? Central Asian ones. Okay, the Central Asian republics. Fine. And Russia was now accepted as the successor state of the Soviet Union. Russia was now accepted as the successor state of the Soviet Union. Wherever we had some other representation, or USSR has represented, in their place we had Russia now. Okay, and it inherited the Soviet seat even in the United Nations Security Council. Okay, it in the UN Security Council, it got the permanent seat. Okay, and Russia accepted all the international treaties and commitments of the Soviet Union, and it took over as the only nuclear state of the post-Soviet space. It was the only nuclear state of the post-Soviet space, and Russia, it carried out some nuclear disarmament also, some nuclear disarmament measures with the US, means how to limit, how to reduce the number of their nuclear weapons. Okay, and this was how the old Soviet Union, about this union, enough storage, enough positive things along with negative aspects we had, their pros and cons, but this Soviet Union thus remained the history. Okay, in case of any doubt, children, must ask. Hope you understood the disintegration of the Soviet Union. Why did it disintegrate? And thereafter we will discuss. Here we saw the role played by Mikhail Gorbachev or the Boris Yeltsin, what followed just after it, how did CIS come into existence, okay, and then Russia became the Russia has been chosen to carry forward the legacy of the USSR, so it inherited the Soviet seats even in the UN Security Council as well. Fine. Hope concept you understood. Okay. In case of any doubt, children must ask. Okay. Have a good day. Take care. Stay safe.